Hey guys, and welcome back. So in today's video, we are gonna be going over 8 words that I hear misarticulated very, very often. So if articulation is something that you're interested in, then please stay tuned. To my subscribers, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you're new here, welcome. My name's Victoria, and I make videos for those of you who are looking to master the American accent. So if that's you, please subscribe, please hit that notification bell, and then YouTube will notify you once I've posted a new video. All right, you guys, let's get right to it. So the first word that I hear misarticulated a lot is the word rapport. Rapports, and we have a good rapport, we have a good relationship. And instead of rapport, I very often hear rapport or report. But in this word, the stress falls on the second syllable, which isn't very common for a 2-syllable noun. And the T is totally silent, right? So we're not saying report, and I'm not making an unreleased T either. I'm pretending the T is actually not there. So I'm saying rapport rhymes with the number 4. You'll notice as well that that first syllable, RA, is totally reducing to schwa. So we have a good rapport. All right, you guys, so our next word is colleagues. Colleagues. So I hear 2 mistakes for this word. One of them is a misarticulation and one of them is a stress error, but I'll tell you about both. So the articulation error that I hear is that ah sound not being low back enough. So I really often hear more of a sound here, like a colleague instead of a colleague. The other thing that I hear is the stress not being on ah enough. So what I end up hearing a lot is colleague or colleague, but it's a colleague. 2 syllables, winner on that first ah, second syllable, nice and tense. He's my colleague. Our next word is the word rhetoric. Rhetoric. Now, this word, even many native speakers, if you were to show them the spelling of this word, they would probably not pronounce it correctly. I'm totally guilty of this as well. I used to think this word was pronounced as rhetoric. And I think the reason for this is that growing up, we often hear the expression of a rhetorical question. And in that word, we're stressing or, but in the word rhetoric, we're reducing that O to a schwa. So rhetoric is pretty much like the context in which I hear it in now the most is related to politics. So rhetoric would mean like a convincing, really persuasive type of speech, but oftentimes there's a negative connotation attached to it, like empty rhetoric or like political rhetoric, that like someone's really good with their words, but they're just saying a lot of fluff. All right, so for this word, the real trick, again, is that O has to reduce to schwa. So the word is pronounced as RHETORIC. So notice that my second syllable has an alveolar flap going right into a schwa. Rhetoric. Our next word is finale. Finale. And I'd say 95% of my clients, when this word comes up, say final. Of course, it does look just like final with an E at the end, but because that E is there, the stress changes and the sounds change. So listen to my sounds when I say finale. Finale. So the first syllable is reducing to schwa. Our winner is that A sound, and then the final syllable is a tense E. This one means the final kind of episode of a show usually. So the season finale was on last night. Our next word is Harvard. Harvard. So the name of the famous educational institution. So this one's really confusing, right? Because there are 2 vowel sounds and they're different sounds, but if you look at the spelling, they both look like AR. So what I hear a lot for this word is Harvard, RR, but in fact we're saying Harvard. So it would make more sense if it was spelled VERD, but of course it isn't. So for this one, just remember that English spelling is misleading, and just because we see a certain spelling combination, that doesn't mean anything. So for this one, be sure to pronounce it as Harvard. Our next expression is hindsight. Hindsight. And a really common expression that comes to mind for this one is hindsight is 20/20. Meaning if you look into your past, it's really easy to say what you should have done, right? So for hindsight, the mistake I hear a lot is that H-I-N-D is usually pronounced as hind, which makes sense, but again, English doesn't always make much sense. So for this one, think of the word behind, right? You're looking retrospectively. So it's not hindsight, it's hindsight. So our next word is awkward. Awkward. So this is a really common word among millennials for sure. And the mistake that I really often hear is that first ah sound kind of being finished by a rounded w sound, which again is what it looks like. So I often hear awkward, but it's really just ah. There's like pretend that W isn't even there. So it's ah, and then the second syllable is quird, quird. So it's an sound, even though it looks like AR. So that was an awkward interaction. And our final word is the word close. Close. Now, this one's interesting because most of my clients have no idea that they're misarticulating this one, but many, many, many do. So for this one, I hear many different things actually. Most often I hear clothes. Like if that man's name is Claude and that is his car, I could say that's Claude's car, but that's different than I'm wearing clothes. And I often hear clothes or clothes. So let me interject here that it's technically not incorrect to say clothes with a v voiced th followed by a z. However, it's very, very, very rare that you'll catch a native speaker saying that. And the reason is because it's really awkward and cumbersome to physically do that. So it's absolutely acceptable and common to hear close exactly like we say, I'm gonna close the door. So think about it as KL, tense vowel, rounded vowel, O, followed by the Z sound. So I like your clothes, and please close the door. That is how that is pronounced. All right, you guys, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.